you. And of course, I would have to tell you, I am your 16th president, Abraham Lincoln.
And I would be your 20th president, James Abraham Garfield.
I am your 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt.
Aren't they dressed a little differently as other folks are? I say a little different looking. Are they from a different? Are you Americans?
Yes. It must be. Well, you know, we had a lot in my presidency. We had a massive wave of immigration from Europe and even from Asia. They all had different strange customs.
My goodness, I see it. Yes,
This is interesting. It is.
Is there? I mean, you have a president now. I see. Yes.
Yes, well, who is your president today?
Barack
Hussein Obama.
Obama?
Obama? Yeah.
Obama.
Sounds to me like an Irish name. Yes, but which state is he from? Why? Wait a minute, that's a, oh yes, that's a territory in the Pacific. It's now a state. That's a strange name, a Hawaiian president? My goodness, next thing you'll tell me we've had a Catholic president and perhaps even a Jewish or Negro president.
What I wonder if someone of you would tell us, what does he look like? Who is he? We do not know.
A Negro? A colored man, did you say? African-American. A what American? African-American.
My goodness, sir.
Well, I should say to you very well that, you know, it's about time. Look how long it's been. Well, that's a little different. Quite unusual. Because I remember in my days, you didn't talk about those things at all. Oh,
Well, I recall when I was president, the controversy that I created when I invited Booker T. Washington to the White House, a great leader of his people, great educator. You know, he was born a slave. Of course, he was freed under your administration, Mr. Lincoln, and I invited him to the White House for lunch. And the controversy that I dared soil the White House with the presence of a black man.
it should have been more than our time, though.
You know, gentlemen, we're talking of it. Maybe we should introduce ourselves and speak a little bit about our presidency.
Delighted, yes, fully, Mr. Garfield.
Being the oldest of the group here, I suppose so. I get the honor. But yes, I was born in a log cabin, 1809. Going from a dirt floor log cabin all the way to the White House as your 16th president. Now, particularly you young people, you should be aware that because I can stand here as your 16th president with 1 year of education, that should tell you that you have that same opportunity. Yes, you have, young men there. You have that same opportunity I had as a young boy born in Kentucky. Grew up in Indiana. Moved to Illinois, and I spent my entire adult life there. I ran for a public office. I told them then, that was in 1832, I told the audience much about the size that you are here, very small, but nevertheless, very important. And I told them that I have no greater ambition than to be esteemed by my fellow man. Esteemed. But there was something else. I have to be worthy of that esteem. You young people, remember that. Respect. It doesn't give it to you for free. You have to earn it. You earn the respect of your elders and the other people in this country. That was the way I stood in those days, in that first time for running for public office. election. 2 years later, though, I remembered all those things that I did wrong, that I could improve upon. And at that time, I was elected for a 2-year term, served 4 consecutive terms in the Illinois General Assembly. The House of Representatives, 2 years, ran for the Senate seat and lost that race to a man by the name of Stephen Douglas. Mr. Douglas thought slavery was perfectly fine. I did not. The 7 debates that he and I had over that election were over one single issue: slavery, right or wrong. And I held it to be wrong, as I have always done all of my entire life. And I still hold to that belief. Slavery is wrong. No man should ever own another man. That was my stand. But I lost the election. And I can tell you, I was not that greatly disappointed, because I knew at that moment, in talking with Douglas in those debates, that I could beat him in a run for the presidency in 1860, because he now had no votes from the southern states because of one comment he made, and he said that comment was, "I don't care whether slavery is voted up or voted down." And when he did that, I knew I could defeat him, and I did in 1860. My platform was to do something about slavery in this country, but not necessarily to eliminate slavery, because it had been here for too many years. The Republican platform was to moderately do something gradually and not an overnight thing. So I had quite a challenge ahead of me, gentlemen, and I can tell you that I think it was admirably handled after I was gone. But I give you President Garfield.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And I have see, I have just one thing that I might tell you personally about President Garfield, because my son Robert served in his administration, and he can tell you about that.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. You could probably say I'm a voice of a president that is not often heard. My presidency would come to an end very shortly, but I did have quite a bit to do before I became president, and when I became president, I went to work as quickly as possible. But let me tell you a little bit about my younger days. I, too, like Mr. Lincoln here, was born in a log cabin. As a matter of fact, I had a dirt floor. And during my presidency, during my run for presidency, people would say, "He is that dirt poor president." That was what people called me, dirt poor. It was a name that would stick, and I believe from years to come it would be quite common to be called or say dirt poor. But that's what I was called, was the dirt poor president. As a matter of fact, in my platform I said, "I am a hater of poor." I did not like to see people who were poor and suffering from poverty because I had grown up with it. I had very good parents. My father, my mother are very Christian people, and I was a very outspoken Christian president. And it did make me a little unpopular with people because they did not think and believe that I would be able to separate state from religion. And it was a difficult task that I would have to prove as my presidency would continue. But before I even became president, and during my younger days, I had the fortunate opportunity